Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be discussing one of the most frequently asked questions in marketing cloud. That is, do we do we need to configure SAP? What are the advantages if we configure SAP, and what are the disadvantages if we do not configure SAP? What is SPF? What is DMIK, and what is DMARC? So let's go to this blog. Let's go to my blog here. So today we'll basically concentrate more on the SPF, but to give you a little background of what is SAP, let's start with a little explanation of the SAP. We also have basically official website for the Salesforce where you can click here and go to the official website and understand what is SAP. SAP is basically a branding tool, which basically enables you with a lot of features, and from the features you can basically choose what you want to do with SAP. So the first feature that enables you with account branding, where you can have a subdomain where you can wrap the links, images for sending emails. Okay, you can also enable private domain for sending the email communication. If you have different brands for the parent organization, and when you enable the private domain and you send the email, what Marketing Cloud does is basically validates the SPF, the Sender Policy Framework. And once it's validated, and then the OME will start processing the emails. We can also use custom moments for wrapping the cloud pages. Okay, when you go and click on the landing pages and start creating it, from the endpoint, you can basically select which TNN endpoint you want to select. Okay? Either you can select the private domain, or from the SAP domain, you can have that ability to select. And you can also, what you can use is the dedicated IP. If you have a small base for the subscribers, okay, and you're sending only thousands or 10,000 emails per month, then you can use dedicated IP. So your sends and email will be delivered properly with the better IP reputation domains, with the IP domains. What you can also enable is the RMA. So all these configurations you can achieve once you enable SAP. And if you have more than one child business units, okay, for the Marketing Cloud instance, what you can do is once you enable it for the parent domain, you can ask the Salesforce, okay, create a ticket, and then enable it for the child business unit also. You don't have to buy another SAP, okay, for each business unit. Now let's go to the Sender Policy Framework, SPF. Okay, what it actually does. So it is also a framework defined by the public DNS. And whenever you buy a domain, you have to go and register yourself in the DNS, right? And when you register for the DNS, and when you're having this SPF, it will be added as a TXT record in the public DNS, and that will basically link you with the IP which you have bought. So that TXT will map with the IP. And if you do this, what it actually happens is whenever you're sending an email with that particular domain, the DNS will basically verify if that TXT record is mapped with the IP address. If that is mapped, then what you're doing is you're basically increasing your reputation, right? And the receiving mail servers will say, okay, it is coming from a trusted source, so it will allow this firewall to penetrate, right? And you can basically deliver it to your inbox. Okay, but if this is not configured properly, and if the validation fails at the DNS, you will be marked as a spam, and maybe if even it get delivers, it will be delivered into the spam, and it might go into spam folder. And so that is what basically SPF does. Okay? It will help you with the IP reputation. It will basically give you a stamp saying that the email that you're receiving is coming from a trusted source. So let's consider, I have an example to help you out with the SPF. So let's say I'm working for an organization called ABC, and I'm the person responsible for sending campaigns, okay, to my subscribers. So as I'm working for the organization ABC, I'll have a verified email address, which is basically, say, for example, it will be sasi@abc.com. And when I configure Marketing Cloud, right? And when I'm ready to send email, the first point that we consider is to create a sender profile. So when we go and create a sender profile, what we do is for the from name, let's say we are adding the company name ABC to let the subscriber know that who is sending you an email. And the from address, since uh, I'm the person who's sending the email. Okay, so the from email address, I'll set as my email address as sasi@abc.com, which is a verified sender. And for the delivery profile, when actually I registered my domain, right, I will also have the IP address, which is becomes the delivery profile. So, for example, I have the IP address as 111. So I have configured the sender profile, and I have also configured the delivery profile. So based on these two combinations, I also have a same classification. So I'm going to use the same classification for all the sames from Marketing Cloud. Okay. So if you want to understand how OMM works, okay, once you send an email from Marketing Cloud, you have a link. You can click here. And here I have tried my best to explain what happens and what things you need to consider while building the journey with respect to OMM. Going back to our current discussion with SPF. So this is what happens is when you send an email, what happens is when once it processes your email, it adds email headers into the email. So what are the email headers? It are the connecting IP from from email address to email address, which is the recipient, and the return path from where I'm basically sending. So I have configured a private domain, okay, with abc.com. Now, when I'm sending this email from Marketing Cloud server, it first checks the SPF. And once it checks the SPF, it adds this return part as this header, email header. Now, once it passes the validation, it goes to the mail servers, right? And from the traffic, email traffic, it reaches the recipient server. Okay? So, for example, let's say we have a Gmail server because we are sending this email to raj@gmail.com. Okay, so the Gmail server receives your email and it validates the return part, extracts the domain, which is basically abc.com, and it goes and validates with the SPF record. Now, if the SPF record for ABC matches with this connecting IP, that is 111, okay, if that is there, then it passes the validation. Once it passes the validation, so you're protected from the same spam filter definition they have configured, right? So the email will be delivered to the inbox. Now, let's say in your subscriber base, there might be some spammers as well, okay? And let's say they receive an email, and once they receive the email, they know the from name, right, and the from email address for that particular sender profile. So they might also try to impersonate your sender profile. So let's say I'm a spammer. I received the email. Now I understood that what is the from email address and what is the from name. So I created a sender profile, from name as ABC, and the from email address as sasi@abc.com. I'm sending from a different server, a different instance. And there, the delivery profile has to be based on their SAP domain, right? Or their configurations, how they have configured it, right? So with their domain, they have to configure. Now, for the domain, let's take an example. It is 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. So this is for the spammers who are impersonating your sender profile. Now, when they send an email, what the mail server from where they're sending, it attaches these headers. So the header for the IP, connecting IP will be 12, 12, 12, 12. From will be sasi@abc.com, and they are targeting your subscribers. Let's say they know your subscriber or they have their own subscriber base. And here also I took an example of raj@gmail.com. They are also sending to Raj. I'm also sending to Raj. The return path is, for example, I've set it as badguy@xyz.com. Okay? These are the spam. Now, when this email is delivered to the Gmail server, it validates the return path. Here, the return path domain is xyz.com. What happens is the connecting IP is 12, 12, 12. So in the SPX TXT, this is not properly configured, right? It's not validated because it's configured with 111. So the validation is failed. So this email address will be marked as a spam. And I have also given an example of how the SPF record will be there in the DNS. So you can go to the blog and you can understand here. Okay, I have also have some references which you can go through. Okay, what is a send SPF? Okay, what is DNS? If you want to understand our validity tool, which basically where you can configure all this SPF, DMARC, and other thing, you can purchase this validity license and you can use it for your Market Cloud instance. Okay? And if you want to purchase the domains, you can that is GoDaddy, okay? Where you can go and buy the domain for your. Before concluding this SPF, okay, I want to show you one diagram. So that will basically help you to understand the full flow of SPF. Okay? So this is the reputed sender who basically sends an email. Okay, is from ABC company, and the email address is sasi@abc.com. And whenever he sends an email, the OMM from Marketing Cloud will add the headers. Okay, the connecting IP 11111. From name will be sasi@gmail.com to the recipient address, and the return part will be sasi@abc.com. And once it sends an email, once it gets processed and it gets delivered to the Gmail server, what it happens is the Gmail server will call the DNS, okay, validate the SPF, and verify if that particular SPF passes or fails. If the SPF passes, okay, it will be delivered to the inbox of that particular recipient. If not, okay, it will be marked as a spam filter and it will be blocked. So the bounce and all the status might also happening because the firewall has defined your delivery as a spam filter and this is blocked. Okay, so if I have to give an example of the impersonated person, okay, basically the spammers. So here this is bad guy at xyz.com, and when he impersonated your sender profile and he sends an email, here the mail server will basically add those email headers, and those email headers will be the connecting IP as 121212. From name is my email address, which is sasi@abc.com. Who is the recipient person, and the return part will be bad guy at xyz.com. So here, when it reaches the Gmail server, it goes for the DNS validation. It fails, right, and it's marks as a spam filter, and it might be blocked. So all the emails being sent by the spammer, it will be blocked by the firewall. So today I'll conclude this session with this SPF. I'll continue with DMIC and DMARC in the next session. Thank you.